Hello everyone and welcome to Walking Dead Season 10 Characters Tier List. As usual, comments are turned off to avoid spoilers, and speaking of spoilers, there's going to be a lot in this, so you should definitely not watch this if you haven't watched the season. We're going to get right into this, and we're going to start off with, go with Alden, because he kind of just is there. There's like a lot of characters here that are there. Oh, great, starting off with a yawn already. I am very tired, so... Alden, generally likable character since he left the Saviors. I like him. That's simple. Already out of the way. We're gonna get some other meh characters out of the way, like who else? Like Earl, who I don't have on the list, but I still wrote something down for him. I'd say he brought the kids to safety after Hilltop fell. Good guy before he died. See here, Judith has one thing written down, who I expected to be a pretty major character. Barely showed up throughout the season. But, yeah, really good at getting info out of prisoners, I guess. As for Judith, I guess I like her, even though she didn't do a whole lot in the season. Another thing where characters who just, like, aren't on the list, but I have written down. One of the Oceanside characters died, Beatrice. I don't think anyone gave a shit. No one was sad about that. So Virgil, complete weirdo. Lured Michonne to an island, locked her up, drugged her, put her through psychological pain. I don't even know. Just wouldn't let her leave, and it was just a weird guy. I have no clue. Michonne meeting this wacko, though, did help her find evidence that Rick is still alive, so he was kind of very important for that, which is how they wrote Michonne off the show. Makes his way back to mainland USA and saves Connie, who passed out on the side of the road. So that was a nice thing. I'm gonna put him in neutral because he's weird. Like he definitely isn't. He doesn't have bad intentions, but he came off as just a bad guy so far. I wouldn't say I dislike him though. I'm sure he'll be of use in season 11. Maggie, who was gone for almost the entire season, came back in episode 16, the final episode, and saved Gabriel when he was absolutely fucked. He was pinned down, about to be killed by whisperers. There ain't no way he was surviving, but she busted through the door to save him in time. So good job, Maggie. As usual, I like you. She had a couple appearances in episodes after 16 and the little bonus ones at the end of the season. So, you know, she had a little extra there, but nothing too noteworthy. Speaking of Gabriel, let's get him out of the way. Where's he at? So, found Gabriel here. Gabriel stabs the living shit out of Dante. Never expect that kind of violence to come out of him. Convinced a guy who had him play Russian roulette that him and Aaron are good guys. He then had that guy lower his weapons and listen just for Gabriel to smash his head in, which was just incredible. I loved that. Gabriel's like, dude, we're good people. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you can change. There are good people left in the world. Stop lying to yourself. And then he got the guy to listen and agree, and then he smacked his head over, beat his head in with Aaron's funny little arm. Still love Gabriel. He's still an awesome character. And honestly, I highly doubt, if I went back to Season 5, I told my old self, dude, Gabriel's still around in Season 10, Season 11. I would not believe it. This is like a character I did not expect to last this long. Aaron, because he was part of that episode. That was a good episode. I like that. We'll get him next. Seems like Aaron has decided to quit the nice guy shit and start taking matters into his own hands. It would be a nice change of pace for him, and that is indeed what happened. He is indeed not the nice guy anymore, bossing Negan around and being rude to him. Honestly, not a fan of that, because Negan is for sure a good guy, without a doubt. He's a good guy now. He does some major important things. Negan's without a doubt a good guy. People shouldn't be a complete prick to him anymore. He's earned his place in Alexandria. He's done good things for them. But I can see why Aaron, would be very mad at him. I can see why Maggie would be very mad at him. I can see why Michonne would be very mad at him. But they need to definitely not be so rude to him, because he is a lifesaver in many ways, and we'll get to him. But overall, still love Aaron. Still a wonderful dude. Still always just a caring and cool guy. And yeah, he's kind of taken on this new role of not so nice though. He will boss people around. He will be an ass. Rosita and Eugene. Well, Rosita has absolutely nothing. I don't even know how much screen time she had this season, but she barely any. And I mean, I still like her as a character, but for this season, I'm only putting her there because I don't have anything written down for her. I don't think she did anything this season that was important. Poor Eugene thought that one day him and Rosita would be happy together. That was going to happen, and they are no longer friends. I think they went back on that, but yeah, that was a little sad for Eugene. He just wants a piece of ass or something, and he just can't get it. And I still have that Season 8 Eugene picture because I was too lazy to get a modern, up-to-date one. Eugene fiddling with radio frequencies allowed him to find a random person that may be important for the future. He wants to go on a date with her. Finally getting some love. Eugene, my man. Really cool. Still love Eugene as usual. He's still just the way he speaks and all that, and his jokes and stuff. Always an enjoyable dude. Who else do we have? Oh boy, there's a lot written for some of these people, and there's a lot not written for some of these people. Like Michonne, who I was expecting to be a major character for this season, and she kind of just wandered off and disappeared. Never wanting people to give out info about Alexandria or let them yet forces a capture guy to still give up that info when she understands why she doesn't want to say it. Seems silly. I don't know what the hell I'm referring to here. I think it's one of the captured whisperers, and she was like, "Dude, give us your info," and then the guy's like, "Nope, I can't do that." I don't know. I don't really have anything written down for her, but I still love her. She's awesome. I feel like a lot of these characters I expected to become major characters, like Michonne and Judith, kind of just didn't for this season. This definitely was not their season. This was like a Carol, Alpha, Negan season. So from Magna, still seems like she's making irrational decisions, not listening to anyone and doing her own thing, stealing from the hilltop despite others being in danger, needing those goods. Magna being a bitch to Carol. That's all I can say about her. She's a bitch. Yeah, that's basically it. Mag's a bitch. I don't really like her. She's stinky. I don't hate her, but she's just a dislikable character to me. Yumiko spared the princess after she nearly got the group killed. Felt sympathy for her. Nice of Yumiko, who is I don't know, just a likable character. Yeah. Let's see. This is gonna be a fast tier list. Well, not until I get to the later characters. I like how willing Kelly is to tag along with others and help out. Seems to always be the first to offer. Started to get along with Daryl while looking for Connie, who also got along with Daryl well. And so Connie and Kelly are both going to go in like. Connie hasn't really done a whole lot this season because she just, disappeared after the cave collapsed on her and just showed up in the last episode, or episode 16. So, yeah. Most of that season, both Magna kind of just showed up randomly. Like, when the Whisperers are fire and flames at the hilltop, she just kind of showed up walking amongst the walkers. I'm like, how the hell did she manage to, one, not get spotted, and two, get in that horde and then walk out of it? I don't even know. That was some weird stuff. Lydia, people are being rude to her, so she pulls a power move, sits next to them, grosses them out, being a dick right back. I think it was like early in the season. By the way, I should mention, sorry it took so long to get to this part, or to get to this season. I don't know why. It just took me a little while to get through this, and then I started kind of lost memory. Feels like season like the 2 and 3 tier list where I just lost memory of what happened. Chooses to go back to the Whisperers after all this time, which I thought was a little silly of her. Then I learned, later on she changes. Brought Daryl to safety. He was about dead. Yeah, that was a fun little scene when Daryl went after Alpha and they both nearly died, but was nice enough to bring Daryl to safety. Yeah. Helped lure a huge ass horde off a cliff and prevented Carol from jumping off it, which was very nice of her. So Carol is basically just the entire season is just being like, and Lydia saved her from just whooping dying, jumping off a cliff. So that was really, really silly of Carol. But yeah, Lydia did alright this season. I think she did good. I like her. Carol will do next because Carol has a lot written down. Carol's got big balls. Tried shooting Alpha in like the first episode. Went into Whisper territory to find a missing horde. She goes to their side multiple times. Bad Carol, don't do that. I like that Carol. Carol is a smart cookie. Using Lydia to show a Whisperer hostage, Alpha is a fat liar. So basically, Whisperer was captured, put in a cell, and to coax info out of this guy, they brought in Lydia, and Lydia was presumed dead by all the Whisperers because Alpha said that she had killed her. But when this guy sees that Alpha was lying, he thought twice about his cause. So bringing Lydia into the cell, or not to the cell, but into the basement to show this dude in the cell, hey, your leader's a big fat liar, he's a big fat phony, was pretty smart of her. Maybe he'll spill the beans. He didn't, though. He ended up dying. Carol split up from the group in the cave to light some dynamite, and she nearly died trying to light it. When the cave collapsed, it set off the dynamite. That caused the cave to collapse on Connie and Magna. Really stupid move, Carol, because at first you presume that they both die. Later you learn they don't. They somehow survive that. But she's letting the thought of revenge control her, and has been all season. Connie and Magna lived, but it was still all a shit decision and put their lives at risk, and that was really silly of Carol. So at that point, I was annoyed with Carol for trying to do something dumb to kill all these people. So yeah, Carol just did a really dumb move, and that pissed me off. And I was just like, Carol, you're letting revenge just take over your mind, and but she completely fixed that because one, well, those two characters lived, and two, well, one of the biggest things of the season is let Negan out of the cage to get behind enemy lines to kill Alpha. After successfully killing Alpha, had the head delivered to her, and had it stuck on a pike. What a badass. Yeah, I think that alone makes up for nearly killing two minor characters. I'm not gonna lie. It was a really silly move of her, and I didn't like her at that point in the season. But when when Carol, was revealed to be the one that let Negan out, and the whole plan that he had, that Negan was had set up with her, that completely just wiped off any previous issues. That was seriously one of the coolest moments, and I was like, holy girl, that's awesome. Carol is seriously a badass. Carol became a moody bitch, though, later in the season, which kind of brought it back down. She got with Daryl, and then she started chasing a rat, and I'm just like, what the hell? What is a filler-ass episode? Still, Carol, I love her. I think just she and Negan together as a big team right there. That's a powerful team, and they work together very well to finally end the Walkers, end the Whisperers' reign. Let's get Siddiq and Dante out of the way, because I know they're on here. Man is losing his mind over the people he saw die. He's seeing visions and screaming into bowls of water. I love how much that changed him. Makes me wonder how it'll affect him later. Ooh, didn't really affect him later, but we'll get to that. So basically, after seeing Alpha go and behead a bunch of people, Siddiq is just, broken. He's mentally broken. He's all over the place. He's screaming. He's having visions. He's just like, oh my god, he's mentally broken. He's crazy. And I'm thinking, man, this is pretty important later. I mean, what if he gets into a scene, an incident where he's gonna have to save a life, and then this PTSD hits him and he can't do anything? Well, turns out there is no later. Yeah, because Siddiq is killed by Dante, who turns bad. Undercover Whisperer pinned the blame on Siddiq when he killed a hostage, killed the innocent, graffitied, spread the tainted water right under their noses. Oh boy, he did so much, and it was a great sudden turn. Basically, that dude in the cage that I keep bringing up, that hostage, there's that basically again, suddenly died because Dante had killed him, being an undercover Whisperer, so that he couldn't leak any information about the Whisperers. But he blamed Siddiq, saying, Siddiq, you gave me the wrong the wrong pills for this guy. That's why he overdosed and died, or whatever it was. Then he just killed innocent people, and no one knew it was him. He then graffitied the Silence the Whisperers crap all over the walls, and then spread tainted water around Alexandria to weaken them. Really smart dude, and he did it right under their noses, and no one expected it. And then he killed Siddiq, and all that Carl did for him was a complete waste, because Siddiq just straight up died. He was choked out. So that was pretty interesting. So Siddiq, I like the guy. Do I love him? I think I say I liked him this season. And he's already gone. What a shame. Yeah, Siddiq was pretty cool for his time. And Dante, I'm going to put in because he was just suddenly a sudden villain, and everything that he did under their noses came together at the end, and that was really cool. And then Gabriel just murdered him. And also I'm going to stick Luke in love as usual, because he's just a weirdo. Yeah, nothing written down for him, though. Princess, probably the latest introduced character. Oh my god, I don't. Ugh. She's a wacko right from the start. She points at guns at people and walks Eugene, Yumiko, and the king straight into a minefield in her first episode. Like, oh my god. She made them believe she had a garage of cars. It was bikes instead, though. Though she never specified it was cars or bikes, I can't really blame her for that. She didn't really say. She just said she had wheels. Knowing her, it could have just been a bunch of tires. That's it. And not actually anything of a vehicle. Didn't answer simple questions and nearly killed a random dude that simply came to give her food. Man, she just came off as a complete just whack job that doesn't use her brain and isn't thinking, nearly gets random people killed, can't answer simple questions, pretends like they're her friends. It's just so annoying. And she gave this whole speech like, oh, my dad used to hit me and I had no friends and I just want to be accepted. And it's just like, well, you're an idiot, so no wonder no one accepts you. Your little sob story is not going to make me like you. I don't like her. Dislike. She was silly and dumb and ew. I don't hate her. I know there's some good in there, and she's just trying to do her best, but she just comes off as a very dislikable character. Mino like the princess. She dumb. Next up, we're gonna do the Ezekiel and the Jerry. Ezekiel was about to end it. Yes, he was straight up about to die. I understand he lost his son and broke up with Carol. He lost the kingdom too. But I feel he still needs to be strong. He is the king after all. And I believe, was it Michonne? I think it was Michonne that went and talked him out of it. So that was a bad thing from the king. I don't like that. King, you're supposed to be strong, my man. Ezekiel also talks some sense in Eugene to keep him going, being an inspirational king. Eugene was like, ain't no use, we're never gonna make it to our point on time, but then the king was like, no, you ain't giving up, boy. Yeah. So there wasn't anything in particular that Ezekiel did that I disliked, really. I mean, I wasn't a fan of him trying to die, because it's just like, he's the king, he shouldn't be fallen that low, but he recovered, and he held on strong, and he helped Eugene on his trip to go find his friend over the radio. So I love the king, he's still great. Jerry being the beast and holding a whole cave up on his own, enough time to get most people. That was really cool. I thought Jerry was gonna die in that episode. I was worried he would. He got stuck in a hole, crawling through the caverns, the little crevices of the cavern, and his fat ass couldn't get through. And I was worried that he was gonna get caught. But then he got out of that little crevice. And then when they were trying to escape the thing, the whole damn top of the cave started to collapse in, and he was just like over there, just like, holding up the supports for the cave, and just him alone holding the whole goddamn cave up while everyone tries to get out. I love that. And I thought he was gonna die there too, but he got out too. So Jerry's just a bundle of awesome, and he's still got a funny attitude still. And I love him. I thought it was a really cool moment for him. All right, we're coming down to the last few characters. I'm gonna from now on, I'm gonna save Daryl for the last because obviously since Rick is no longer here, Daryl's kind of the main character now, I'd say. So, and I do have a good amount written for him. Though I have a way more written for Negan. Trust me, Negan and Daryl are always going to be the last two, especially for the next season. So season 11, final one, sadly. Negan and Daryl will be my last two characters for that. So we're gonna get through Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, and all the Whisperers, and let me tell you, it was really good. I loved the story of the Whisperers and their little the last last season and a half of them. Okay, that was great. But I'll get into that at the end when I talk about the season as a whole. So let's see here. We'll go with Gamma because she was the least important of them, I'd say. Where is... So I only have like one or two things written down here. Gamma giving valuable information to Alexandria behind Alpha's back, just like Dwight. I thought it was really cool. She basically was, she was like a continuation of Dwight. I don't know, we didn't do a whole lot. I guess she was likable. She wanted to see her son again because her son was the baby that was left and that Connie saved in Season 9. So here's her little story, right? So in Season 9, when Alpha goes to the hilltop to get Lydia back, there's a baby that was left in the field because it was crying and it was alerting the walkers, and that was her nephew, her sister's son. Her sister would later be killed after she tried to attack and kill Alpha. Instead, her sister gets killed by walkers, and Gamma saves Alpha, and that's why she's promoted. Later on, she comes in contact with Aaron, and Aaron starts feeding information out of her, and, well, she ends up giving information, and behind Alpha's back, gives all that info out, and substantially helps the cause for Alexandria and the Hilltop and all that. Basically does a Dwight, and I think that's great. I love Dwight at the end of his run. I thought he was incredible. What else am I missing? Anything else I'm missing? Well, she came face to face with Beta. Didn't last too long. I do remember that. That was a great episode, I would say. She tried to beat the crap out of him, and, well, just got sliced up, because that's not how you roll. So for Beta, who's an absolute badass till the end, Beta snuck into Alexandria and did some Michael Myers sneaky shit. Killed some people, turned them into walkers. It was an absolute badass moment. The way he's just, like, standing there, kneeling over the corpses of people, and just, like, holding his arms out, and he's just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it was like raising the dead, it kind of looked like he's their leader. It was so cool. That was really awesome. It felt straight out of Halloween, though. That's what really got me. It was just like he's lurking in the shadows, coming in room to room, killing everybody in Alexandria that he can. It was really cool stuff. After Alpha dies, he doesn't become the Alpha, but instead takes her head and takes a piece of her mask to wear on his own. I don't remember if it was a piece of her face or a piece of her mask. I think it was a piece of her actual face to wear on his own, yeah, because the actual mask was thrown off a cliff by Lydia. But took a piece of her face and stitched it to his own mask. It was ripped earlier by, I think it was Gamma. He also, in that episode, just murdered a random guy that recognized him, which was funny. But it was kind of like taking a piece of his leader with him to the grave, which eventually, sadly, he dies, but it's expected as a villain. I thought that was pretty cool. Not really a handoff because Alpha isn't alive to do it, but I don't know. I thought that was pretty neat that he takes a piece of her to keep with him because they were good friends. Beta got stabbed in the eyes, but he didn't fall. He took off his own mask and ascended to a Guardian. Man will always be a legend. I absolutely love that. In his last moments, Daryl just jabs knives in his eyes, and in a little, like, brief mind-bending scene or something that wasn't actually there. It was kind of like a dream sequence or something, but visions in his head as he was stabbed. I think he, like, ripped the knives out of his eyes or something like that. Which was badass, and I think that would have been even cooler if he actually, like, ripped the knives out of his eyes, tried to swing or something at Daryl before being consumed. That would have been incredible. Sadly, that didn't happen. It was only in a little vision sequence, but regardless, he's there, surrounded by walkers, knowing he's done for, because his eyes are bleeding out. He rips his mask off, swings his arms out, and just gets consumed as he falls back into the walkers. It was absolutely awesome. Man went out a legend. I love this guy. One of my favorite characters in the show. Just a complete scary beast. He's awesome. Next up is Alpha, who, oh man, wasn't really a fan of her in Season 9. I think I put her purely on, like, dislike. Ooh, that changes here. Alpha was a great villain. Said her daughter was dead long before the apocalypse and doesn't really care that Lydia is gone. Bad mom. Later on she gets emotional over Lydia, and she don't see her again. Good mom. I don't think Alpha is heartless, she only is twisted in the head. And that's one thing that I think I like so much about her, is that while she's over here, you know, holding on to whatever, I think it was her mask, maybe it was like an old toy of Lydia's, she's over here just like, you know, my daughter's not dead to me. I still have a piece of her, I still love her. She gets emotional over her. She still has that attachment to her daughter. Just wants to see her daughter again and be strong and you know, be like her mom. But then Beta says you gotta let go or something. Maybe Beta's just like, dude, she's dead to you. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. And then she just, like, flips like a switch and she starts smashing up and, like, tearing things apart and kicking things over and just destroying all of her little things that she was making for Lydia. Or she's just, like, she's not a bad... She is sort of... Okay, it's hard. She does care about Lydia. And she doesn't actually believe Lydia was dead before the apocalypse to her. She's just doing that to act strong to her people, because deep down she knows she still cares about her daughter, she still loves her daughter, and she still wants her daughter back. She just wants her daughter to be like her, to be strong like her, and she uses physical abuse to try and do that, which I don't agree with. That's not how you make people strong, it's how you make people hate you. That's one thing I just love, how just like two sides of her that she just flicks on flicks like a switch, and she just completely changes back and forth. I like that. She's so twisted in the head like that. It's great. Alpha isn't a cold-blooded killer. She was made out to be. Yeah. So one of the first things that's said about Alpha is that she's a cold-blooded killer. Later on, really, she isn't a cold-blooded killer. Later, you don't see that as much. She reasons with people and forgives them. Carol tried killing her, but Alpha didn't retaliate. Carol fired a gun at her and missed. I think it was Michonne or Daryl, moved that away from, push the gun away. But she's like, I understand. Your son died. You don't like me. I get it. I'm not gonna do anything. It's understandable. It's kind of like Negan, actually, when who was, I think it was Glenn, jumped out and he's like, dude, I get it. You guys are all, you're scared. You don't want people to get hurt. Understood. I'll let that one slide. And same thing with Alva. It's like, Carol, I understand. You are very high in emotions because I killed your son and your friends. Understandable. I don't blame you. From mother to mother, I get it. I thought that was pretty cool. And see here. I don't really have anything else for her besides she's just a sick and weird, twisted person. The way she's just the whispering, the bald head, and everything. It's just weird, and I love it. I don't know why. It really grew on me. So the way she's like, sees her daughter come at her and help her, and she's just like talking to her and loopy and just talking smack to Daryl, and everything about her is just a twisted mess, and it's great. I say she completely turned the tables this season, and I love her for her act as a villain. It's just great. Next up is Negskin, who I have an absolute metric ton written about. He is a great, great character, let me tell you. Negan is a good guy now, helping Alexandria take care of the Whisperers. Good guy, Negan. Saved Lydia, who was about to get a beat down, then got the blame for accidentally killing someone. He's saving a life, not trying to take one. That happened pretty early in the season. That is something I do remember. A couple people tried to kill Lydia, or beat her. I don't think they were trying to kill her, but they sure as hell were trying to beat her down. And Negan came in and stopped the fight. Ended up accidentally throwing someone against the wall and killing her. Not intended. He didn't mean to kill anybody. It kind of just happened. And then he was... I don't think it was... Was he evicted from Alexandria? I think so. So yeah, it was just a shame. Just a bonus point. Negan had some great gory Walker kills in episode 5. Yeah, okay. Negan sharing wholesome moments with a kid he randomly found. Fun times. Told him about the hilltop. That kind of turned out sad. His fanboy Brandon is simply annoying. He then kills Milo and his mom, the kid he was talking to, that he found randomly, who Negan was getting along with and helping out. Negan smashes Brandon's skull with a rock, and rightfully so. Oh, man. Negan has just been, on a good roll at this point. He's just, he saved Lydia. He, got in trouble for something he didn't mean to do. While he was evicted, he goes out and, with some random-ass dude. I think he was evicted. I can't remember if he left on his own or if he was evicted from Alexandria. Regardless, he was out on his own with some random guy, and that guy was just a weirdo. And, ruined the good thing he had with this random, mother's son that he found, He was getting along with him, and then that guy ruins it, and then he smashes the dude's head in. It's just that's great stuff. And then everything changes. He wants to join the Whisperers. Oh boy, I thought he changed. And then it just... Negan has such this roller coaster for me this season where I go from, I love him to, don't go back to your old ways. Oh, he's going back to his old ways to, oh, you're awesome, dude. Negan and Alpha did the hanky-spanky for no reason. Absolutely disgusting shot. I have to point that out. They banged. It was a horrible shot. No one needs to see that. I'm going to flash it up on the screen. Yes, I am. I'm going to do that. There you go. Negan never changed. He just waited for his moment. He's with the bad guys, burning down the hilltop. Scratch that! Negan played Alpha like a damn fiddle, got in real close to her, found Lydia, and made her believe Lydia was locked up. Alpha wanted her dead. Turns out Lydia wasn't in the building, and Negan slashed Alpha's throat and killed her. Oh boy, that was quite the paragraph. So, here I am thinking, wow, Negan, you son of a bitch. You played me. Twice, in fact. I thought you were a good guy. And then you joined the Whisperers, and then you burned down the hilltop, and I'm just like, he just waited for his moment to get out and turn bad again. No, not at all. In fact, that was part of his plan with Carol. He got in under their skin, undercover, and then played me again when he slashed Alpha right in the neck, and just out of nowhere, I'm just like, holy crap, damn, Negan, Jesus, dude. Where'd that come from? I thought you liked that. Man, it was just great. That was a great few episodes there. So yeah, it turns out, he set up Alpha. Basically, Lydia's in his building. I captured her. Turns out she wasn't in that building. She was in a completely different building, because Negan did in fact capture Lydia, but put her elsewhere. So Alpha was lured and thinking, okay, my daughter's in here. I'm gonna kill her. And then Negan was like, you don't gotta do this, but whatever. Goes in and where's Lydia at? Right across the neck, just like Rick did to him. It was great. Despite being called the new Alpha, it's like, oh yeah, alright, here's another moment where I'm like, at this point I'm like, oh no, you can try and fool me again that Negan's a bad guy. He's not. He's like, you're the new Alpha, here's your shotgun, and then he has, some whispers come up and say, like, you killed Alpha, you're the new Alpha now. And, Negan's like, I really did enjoy being part of the Whisperers. And then he points the gun at Daryl. I'm just like, yeah, he's not going to do it. And that's exactly what he did. Despite being called the new Alpha, he still saved a tied up Daryl and killed the Whisperers who tied him up. This is great. It's just great stuff from Negan this whole season. Negan is a loving husband and did everything he could to get his wife her chemo treatment, said goodbye to her and the bat. It was a sad episode. The final episode of Season 10, Here's Negan, was a great episode. It had almost nothing to do with walkers and The Walking Dead. It really didn't. But there was something about that episode centered around Negan, learning about his backstory, learning just how much of a loving and caring guy he was, and just how happy he was to be with his wife, and everything that happened to him the last, few days, being captured by somebody looking, after looking for these, the drugs that his wife needed, being captured, then getting revenge on the people that captured him, coming home and seeing his wife's dead, and just everything there. It's just like, it was a sad episode. It made me sad. I felt bad for Negan. And I think it was a great episode of storytelling and backstory. It was a great human episode. So I just want to get that out of the way, because I thought it was a great episode. And once again, Negan, yeah, he's, I can forgive him. I can forgive him for everything that he did in Season 7 and 8. He is absolutely an awesome dude. One of my favorite characters, for sure. And finally, Daryl, who I don't have a whole lot written about, but, he did stuff. Seems Daryl's a lot more bright and happy, joking and hanging out with Carol. Nice to see. Didn't end up like that at the end of the season. Shooting down a burning tree and killed a bunch of walkers. Yep, that was cool. I'm trying to think. It was earlier in the season when earlier in the season there was a satellite from space that came smashing down, and everyone tried to go and take it, put it out. Basically, that's the gist of it. A satellite came in, crashed into the forest, it caught fire, and they wanted to put the forest fire out. Yeah. And the walkers, of course, came because that was a loud sound. There's fire everywhere. It's going to attract them. So as a tree's on fire, Daryl shot it with his crossbow, and somehow that was enough to break it, and it came down and smashed a bunch of walkers. That was badass. Daryl's getting along well with Connie, and I was like, ooh, they're going to be good friends. And then, they faked their death, and I was just like, oh, that's just sad. And then she came back, and then, there was a whole thing of Daryl and Kelly looking for Connie, and I actually just can't wait for Daryl to find her, because it's going to be so happy for him. Taking up main leadership role along with Carol, making plans to deal with the Whisperers, me likey. Yes, I did like that. Was stabbed and couldn't see shit, yet still fought off walkers. Pulled a knife out of his leg like a badass to kill him. That was a great one. Him and Alpha are just, bleeding out in this old warehouse or something, this garage, after Daryl is trying to kill her.
and his eyes are just covered in blood. He's just destroyed. He's bleeding out all over the place. He's been stabbed in the leg, and a bunch of walkers come to try and eat him. Well, he said no. Yanked a knife out of his leg and just poked it all over the head. Okay, it's like soap at the end of MW2. Just yanks it out and attacks with it. It's great. He's such a badass there. Daryl realizes Negan did in fact kill Alpha and saved his life, and they put everything behind them. And I thought that was a very nice thing, because, back then, Season 8, Daryl just wanted nothing but to kill him. And, well, now, I think he understood, everything that Carol and Daryl did, or everything that Carol and Negan did. Daryl understood it, and he's happy, because, one, he did save his life in the Whisperers, and two, he did kill Alpha. So, Negan to Daryl is now a good guy, and he understands that, and he's happy. They put everything behind him, and he kind of just accepts Negan's a good guy. He's a friend now, and I'd like to see them be nicer to each other now, and that this has happened. So there you go, Daryl, as usual. I love him. This is a first. I don't think I've ever had a tier list without a hate tier. I nearly liked every character in this season. Wow, would you see that? At least characters that I found notable. Whew. I felt like this was a bit of a messy tier list, but it's also because I'm really tired and Christ, and it took me like a month to get through this season. Yeah, that's my tier list there. As for the whole season, I thought it was a great season. I love the Whisperer storyline. I love that it spanned the whole season. That there was always just something going on there with them. Trying to think things that flashed in my head. A lot of good development with Negan, a lot of good story with him. I can't explain it. I'm not good at explaining, but I can just tell you, I loved the Whisperers. I did. I thought they were just a really cool idea to have these people that just blend in with the Walkers. And their whole, Alpha playing mind games and being a weird mess and, luring them into that cave. That whole cave episode was really cool. It was a unique environment. She's like a smart tactician. Coming face to face with Carol too, and one of those episodes at the end of it, I don't remember which one it was a really badass scene. Just everything about this season, it just felt great. Now the end of it, I'll get to that in a second, but I just felt overall this was a strong season. It was great. The characters, as you can see, I liked them all. I really did. I mean, there's a couple I wasn't a fan of, but I liked most of these characters. I think they were incredible characters. There are a couple episodes that I feel, but that'll happen from time to time. Like Michonne's final episode, I thought it was okay. I think it could have been better. I thought, there's a lot of cool cameos. There's a lot of cool, what-if scenarios in that episode, and it gives her a reason to leave the show by finding evidence of Rick being alive, and it gives you hope that he'll come back at some point. So, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but there's just a solid villain throughout the whole season. There's big twists. There is just cool moments throughout, and I love that even though the Alpha dies, the Beta still goes on, and I like that even with, still a little bit left till the sort of finale of episode 16, Beta has this, little moment to himself. I thought that was cool, and then he suddenly, it comes to an end. The final episode is just something. I'm calling it the final episode. It's not really the final episode, but episode 16 is just something awesome. Just seeing these huge horde of walkers led by Beta, his whole army. Yeah, he still loses, but he still goes out like a monster, like a beast. It was great. Seeing his old self against the wall in the posters of the bar, taking a piece of Alpha as a memory. It's like some really cool stuff. I loved it. I loved the whole Whisperers storyline. I really did. As for the last few episodes of the season, 17 through 22, I don't think those were meant to be part of the season. They're kind of tacked on at the end due to, AIDS being spread around the world, that being, the virus. It seems like those are kind of just thrown on as bonus episodes just to keep you, satisfied with some stuff. They weren't particularly the good one, the best episodes. There were a couple good ones, but they weren't the best episodes in the world. And I don't really think that brings down from the season, because it seems like the season was supposed to end at 16. And the way 16 was, it felt like a season finale. And it was a great one at that. The real season finale was still a great episode too, Here's Negan. But A Certain Doom, I felt it was the true season finale. And it was a great episode. I think it was really how it should have ended, because it's the end of the Whisperers story. Those last few episodes, I'm not going to let them, bring down anything for the rest of the season. So, overall, maybe I just can't explain it because I'm tired as hell. without a doubt, I could say I think this definitely was better than season 9. I liked it more than season 9. I felt like there was, I don't know, excluding the last few episodes of it, the last 6, I thought it was just great all around. A lot of good kills, a lot of good Walker kills, some surprising deaths, as usual with Walking Dead, and a great villain, and just a great story and great twists. I thought it was incredible. I liked it more than season 9. Still not as good as season 6 to me. Still not, just quite not there. I thought season 6 was kind of like an underrated, like, not masterpiece, but I think season 6 pretty damn underrated, but I don't think it's quite there for season 6 for me, but I still love this season. I think it was great. So it goes right there at number 4 between 6 and 9. So there you go. Walking Dead season 10 tier list. There's the characters. Jesus Christ. What a journey this show has been. Let me tell you. This show has been... It just feels so different than season 1 and season 2 and all the characters we've been through so far. Oh, man. And again, I apologize. It took me so long to get through this season and do the tier list. But don't worry. Well, it's done. It's going to be uploaded. There's only one season left to go. Season 11, which isn't even finished yet, so it's actually going to be even longer until it gets to season 11's tier list because, well, at the time of recording this, the second half of the season, episode 16, has aired and done that, and that part of the season's done, but the last stretch of it has not yet. So by the time the show comes back on to airing new episodes weekly, I will actually be caught up with the show, which means that, oh boy, I'm going to have to probably rewatch season 11 thinking about it, because at that point, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to memorize anything, because it's going to be months. Yeah, that's the bonus of having, being able to watch these seasons in like a week or two, is that I can have everything fresh in my mind for the tier list. Not so much for the final season. Trust me, that tier list is not, I don't feel like that's not going to be the best tier list. I think there's going to be some issues there, because there's going to be such a long gap between me, starting it and ending it. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun one, and I can't wait to see how the show's gonna end. So yeah, there you go. It's gonna be a while before season 11. I'm sorry it took so long for season 10. I think this show so far has been incredible. It's had its few down moments, but I'd say honestly, a majority of the episodes have been great. I've been enjoying it so far, and we'll see where season 11 ends up. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna stop dragging this out. Season 10 was great, and hope to see more of this good stuff for season 11. Reshuffle. Yeah, so after looking back and reading up some, brief overviews of some of the seasons and looking at the episodes and just thinking back, I've decided I want to quickly reorganize where I feel the seasons belong and how much I like them. So first I'm going to push season 4 up 2 places and move 9 and 10 down. I think I gave too much flack to the end of that season thinking back. I liked the split up nature of everybody a lot more than I initially thought. The beginning of the season was great with the sickness spreading around and everyone in a mass panic and Herschel being at his absolute best as a character. The few episodes that show the governor and his little story between the time he went off screen at the end of season 3 and his sudden return and how he got to that point to come back and attack, it was great stuff. So overall, that season a lot better than I initially thought. I don't know why I didn't like it. I guess because I wasn't a fan of everyone split up. But thinking back, I think having everyone split up is kind of a good thing because it makes you want more from each character. And when you finally get what you want from each character, seeing their story, it makes it feel a lot more fulfilling. And of course, everyone coming together and meeting at Terminus after alluding to it for the last half of the season, leaving you on that cliffhanger with that legendary Rick line, it's just incredible. And I'm also going to swap Season 7 and Season 5, because Season 5, looking back, wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I don't know why, something with that season just felt off to me. I don't really recall what it was. I think it was just, there's a couple, crappy episodes in there, honestly, to be honest. There's a couple ones that weren't very good. Some of the locations weren't very fun. It felt like a very disorganized season, all that, but in the end of the day, Season 7, I felt, overall, is without a doubt the worst. It just felt so slow, and a lot of filler. It just, I don't even know. Everything felt messy that season. There's a lot of episodes we could have done without. There's a lot of time wasted. And splitting characters apart is something season 7 did for the entire season, and it got really, really obnoxious. Because for season 4, it really wasn't all that long, but for season 7, it was an entire season, and it got to a point where it didn't actually start to feel rewarding or cool to see a character back on screen. You just wanted to get back to the main action. It felt stale having everybody apart, because whereas season 4, something big happens in pretty much every episode with a character split apart. There's a lot of episodes in season 7 where there's nothing that at all that happens of importance in a character's single episode, dedicated to them when they're split apart. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I just felt like maybe at the time I wasn't thinking too straight when I put 7 above into 5. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to do a little reshuffle of where I think the seasons belong. And of course, when I get to 11, we'll see where 11 goes and see you for the season 11 tier list.